many people really appreciate how much infrastructure goes on in the background, how much work, how much sheer effort goes into keeping yachts in such good condition. Well, at the end of each season, the yachts come into the marina here once again, and they're taken out of the water within about 10 days. Over the winter, every single one of our 160 yachts is essentially pulled apart and put back together again. We have between 20 and 25 people throughout the winter working on the yachts, and 160 yachts is a lot of work. Our building looks like an old cinema, but in actual fact it was built as a furniture store. The whole ground floor is divided into sections. The front section is mainly the linen department, if you like. Then you go through a door and you're in the dirty bit. You're in the woodworking section. Then you go through another door into the fiberglass section. Through that, and you're in the fabrication section. And then finally, the rear workshop is the engines themselves. The servicing, the development, the repairs. Most of the fittings inside a yacht are plywood these days, or variations on wood. When plywood gets wet, it can be affected. It's also a major part of our winter program and the varnishing of that same wood. Also there's the oiling of the wood, some of the shower trays and things like that. So there's a lot goes on in that department, looking after the wood both during the winter and the summer actually. The core element of the fiberglass department is making items that are out of manufacture from the manufacturers themselves. Manufacturers will only produce a particular model of a boat for 4 or 5 years. After that, they're not particularly interested in making spare parts for their older boats. In order to keep things in good order, we make the required parts that we need, and we have them on the shelf so that if something breaks or gets lost, we can replace it immediately. Well, engineering is divided into 2 parts. They're both equally important. The fabrication department deals with everything to do with stainless steel, bronze, welding, fitting, turning, all those key skills so we can make things ourselves. Engineering, engine-wise, we have a rolling program of engines. Every year we replace approximately 10% of our engines with new engines. We rebuild about 1/3 of the rest, so they're in service as spares in all our different bases. We carry a spare of each engine type in each base so we can change them in an hour. Well, our outboard team have them all in rows on banks. They take them one at a time and check them over, service them, and each year we also replace about 10% of them because people drop them in the water and they're taking them from the boat to the dinghy and things like that, and so they do suffer wear and tear. We probably have as many dinghies off the boats as we have on the boats, because we're always making sure as best we can that they stay in good condition, and there's a rolling program of replacement, renewal, the engines and engineering, the fiberglass and the boat building, woodworking. That's all done on the ground floor of our premises. The next floor is pretty much entirely inventory of different types, plus things like life jackets, flares, and all the bits and pieces that go to the content of the yachts. It's crucial for us to have a comprehensive spare parts department, because you can't just go into a shop and buy what we need. Very often, to try to buy things after things go wrong, you're waiting for months for these specific parts to come from here, there, or wherever. Then when we go upstairs, again, we've got an entire sail loft with rows and rows of spare sails, And Christina and Lynn and the girls are all working on the machines pretty much at all time. Again, they have an extremely busy winter, doing all the cushions and sail covers and biminis and everything of cloth. We don't make sails, but we do repair them if they get torn. It's absolutely vital for us to have a Corfu office and a team of people who understand the charter business in Greece and the paperwork involved and all the liaison with local people. We're very involved, we're very integrated with the local system of Corfu after nearly 40 years of the business being here. Well, it is fully 40 years in fact. Well, it takes us all winter to get the boats ready for the following season really. The first part, as I said before, is the hard yakka stuff, the nuts and bolts, the engineering, the fiberglassing, the boat building, the redevelopment of things. And by the end of January, that should be done. And then from there, so getting them ready again, what we call the build-up of the boats for the summer season, is February, March, April, 3 months. And also during that time is when we bring our young staff out and they get themselves familiar with the boats by getting them ready for the summer. So by the time people arrive, they are familiar with their own boats. They're also learning all the time. I personally think it's important that people understand what goes on in the background and why it's unique to us, because they can feel assured that when they come, their boat's going to be in good condition. We have the best maintenance system and infrastructure in the industry. Nobody else has anything like what we have.